Hello. For those of you that are watching that run a video agency, videographer, creative director, video editor, I've got a really good presentation for you today around the idea of pitching and selling and really understanding some of the structures that I brought to my business that I think will absolutely give you some ideas, some inspiration, and potentially even change your whole sales process. So in this video, I'm going to cover off the structure of the pitch, how I pitch my video services, how I sold Brand Story, landed some amazing budgets, not only amazing budgets, like I'm talking 6 figures, but amazing like clients, passion work fulfilled. And it all comes down to the pitch. So I'm going to jump straight into it. This is the 6-figure Brand Story creator pitch that I think is going to help you. Your pitch can make or break you. I've experienced it countless times in my 15 years of running my agency, and I've seen it transpire and go wrong with hundreds of creatives while running clout. I speak to about 500 filmmakers per day on average across all socials and including the student body and everything in between. And I see where it goes wrong. I know a lot of it is just genuinely, it is just not your fault because you just do not know the methods and the structures that can actually get you the larger budgets or have it at least unlocked. It's one shot on this song. It's just a bit cheesy, I know, but this is it. You really do have one shot. It's one shot in the words of Eminem. It's not just about the language. There's layers to this, and more often than not, it's the thing that you're not saying and doing that will be the difference, the thing that's going to make the difference. In this video, I'm going to break down the autonomy of successful proposal calls, share some of my best examples I've encountered. But first and foremost, I just want to say, like, once you get this right, this is the thing that you're going to be able to start to experience. I mean, these are just some of those people that are working closely with clout. And look, infomercial, if you are interested in working with clout and becoming a part of our 500k Brand Story creator program, click the link below or just comment on this video or just find your way to me either through Instagram or my email is michael@michaelhanson.tv. Just say you found me on YouTube. But this is the experiences. So like 20k, Andy, Trent 18, Selena like 45, between 80, like just the deals. Like this happened actually just the 1st of August. Really good results when you know how to sell. It really comes down to a lot of it is, like I said in previously, just what I said. It's like not what you're saying. So first, let me tell you a little bit of a backstory. So as a video creator, I was fortunate enough to have an edge over my peers when it came to sales arena because of my time in Yellow Pages. Now, I worked for Yellow Pages as an account executive. Account executive was we would be given a portfolio of around $3 million, and we would go see local businesses in Brisbane. I actually worked in the UK as well. And we were just given a portfolio, and our job was to grow it, right? And to go out and sell them more products, bigger ad space. And what that taught me, and I think this is where I've got an edge, and one of the reasons why I'm so confident in selling sort of things of north of 50,000 is because I was dealing with sort of local gardeners, local pest control companies, roofers, tilers, lawyers, and these are local small businesses, and they were spending like 50 to 100 grand on Yellow Pages. Now, granted, it was the number one place where you would go to find a product and service back in the day. So it was like they had the monopoly on Google because Google wasn't really around when I was doing it. I remember the day they actually said no to Google. We're not partnering, we were too big. And then now they flipped the script on them and they're working for Google, which is interesting in itself. So I had this edge because I was used to seeing that. I was used to seeing these deals getting closed. And I think like when you look at success or you look at someone building a business, like 80% of its mindset, my mindset already going into my video business when I very first started, it was like, there's no way I'm creating this brand story, this sort of cinematic movie about this company and not selling them when I've previously experienced people buying a full page ad for 50k and not even thinking twice about it. My biggest struggle though was I wanted to come up with a structure to the selling, right? A really good structure, a system, an approach on how to actually do it. Because when I was selling Yellow Pages, one of the things that I did, like, let me just break down one element of my sales pitch in the Yellow Pages. I used to get to a client and they'd say, I'm cancelling this year. And I used to say to them, you're cancelling? And we're like, yep, I'm cancelling. I'm like, let's look at it. What do you want to completely cancel, or do you just want to downsize, or what do you want to do? I want to downsize. I'm not getting any quality from this. And I was like, okay, cool. But if you're going to downsize, I would actually flip the script on them and say to them, why don't we just cancel the whole thing altogether? No, I need to be there just in case. And I was like, okay, great. Before we do that, can I run an exercise on you? And I used to run this exercise, and I used to say to them, here's the book, and I want you to pretend that you're in the market for looking for a kitchen. You have a budget, and you want it to be a fairly nice kitchen. Let's say you're spending around $50,000 on that kitchen, and I just want you to pick me a company. And so they would take the book, and I knew what was coming. They would be like, right. And they go right to the back of the book, the cheapest ads, the smallest ad, and be like, this is the company I would. And I'd say, why would you pick that company? And they said, because they would be the cheapest. And then I would sit around and say to them, exactly. This is why you're attracting cheap clients to you. Because the high quality lazy spenders, the ones that actually want the quality, are going to the full page ads because there's more trust, there's more credibility, it's more easier for them on time, and they just want a good job done and they want to invest the money. And I think virtually every time I dropped that part of the structure on that sales pitch, they would always, and I was known for the full page king for that, because most of them clients would look at that and go, yeah, that makes sense to me. And so that helped carry me through my sales career. I made a lot of money doing that, just from that one little gambit. But it became a part of my structure. So my struggle was in closing consistency. In Yellow Pages, I had a full page framing, as I've just explained. But my video business, I needed the same structure to my proposals calls to give them the same consistency and strength in closing. So I developed my internal pressure methodology. So I needed something like that gambit and that structure that I had in Yellow Pages. And I couldn't take that into my video business because it was very different. So I needed a new thing, and I had to go and work and find and spend a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy to actually come up with what I'm about to share with you. So this is for you. If you're watching this, you're confident in delivering your clients, but you struggle to close the deal on your creative ideas. If that's you, you have a passion for storytelling, but you can't get clients to buy into your vision, leading to price concessions, which I cannot fucking stand. I cannot stand that. You're feeling the pressure of younger, lower cost competitions, undercutting rates. Now this is where I call like the superhuman tripods are coming through now with AI and cheaper camera gears, running around with 8K doing pretty shots, and then they're just selling themselves for peanuts because they're living at home with mommy and daddy. And that's really affecting your business and your family, because you probably are the breadwinner, or because you're in a situation where you wanted to build a sort of multi-million-dollar video production company, which is extremely possible in this day and age, because given the fact that we have got such a high usage on video and technology driving it as well, with things like 5G and other things that are going to be coming out over the next sort of couple of years. So video is not slowing down. It's just there is also a lot of entry market people coming in, but these brands are not looking for them. They are looking for storytellers. They are looking for brand story. They are looking for you in a very big way. You've just got to know how to position, package, and price structure yourself in a way like my Yellow Pages story, so that you can do that in your video. And I'm hopefully, if that's you, I'm going to be able to give you that today. You can't seem to convert one-off projects into long-term retainer-based partnerships, and even when you do, you create inputs isn't taken seriously, meaning people are just not taking you seriously. You consistently feel uncertain of how to communicate and convey your value, but you know that your work is worth far more than you're currently offering it for. Okay, so you get stuck in that hamster wheel of I call it time-based selling, where you're just selling yourself as a day rate. Then this is definitely for you. Your current sales process has clients consistently telling you, I'll think about it. There's no urgency. There's no way to close the deal. They're just not interested. They're just pacifying you. They're just looking at it as a sort of luxury, but they're not seeing the seriousness of what you can bring in terms of value. So the 5 steps of a successful sale. I'm going to run through this very quickly, and then I'll break it down into very much like a process. So the first thing you need to do is obviously set the frame. The first pattern I saw in how I handled the first 60 seconds what I did in that short time set up the next 60 minutes. Like how you position yourself when you open up a call. Are you leading? Are you following? Is there dead silence? Do you have a structure? And we're going to talk about that in a second. The second point I want to make is internal pressure. Internal pressure is where they feel the pressure internally, not you telling them to think somewhere. I found that my closed calls were the ones where I didn't push to sell. We don't want to be seeming needy, desperate, and pushing and forcing it down their throat with gimmicks like discounts and all them kind of things. Like sometimes it works when you can offer a one-time decision making. Like if you make a decision today, we can do it for this. That can kind of work, but we don't want that to be the baseline. We want that to be coming from them because they've just realized that they need you and your services in this day and age because video is the highest, usage, and their prospects and market want it from them. And they've come to that realization that this could be the reason why my conversion's down, why my sort of emotional connection with my audience isn't high, why the perceived value, maybe we are getting shopped around on price. We want them to come to that realization so that this is more urgent for them. And self-realization is the most powerful tool because we're not selling to them. They're selling to themselves. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Intention. I would always check. I would always check myself before I went into a sales call for my intention. Now, intention is everything. I always say there's 4 levels to sales, like really 4 deep sales. And I would write this down if you got pen and paper or just open up your notes on your phone, depending on where you're watching this video. But number 1, it's what you're saying. So this is your structure, your sales, your gambits, like I told you about, like my yellow pages. That's a gambit. It's like a script. It's something that you can say. It's what you're saying. The second layer is how you're saying that. Are you saying that with emotion? Are you saying that with are you conveying the tone in your voice? Are you using body language? Like, especially if you're in a face-to-face meeting, like how are you being with them? That's like how you're saying it. Second level. Third layer is your intention behind the call. And this is where I'm touching on here. And this is super important. Is your intention to actually help these people? Because you got to G-check yourself if you're not. Like, you have to show up to this call. Like, one of the reasons why I really believe that I did well in selling is because my intention was so focused on their delivery and their results. I was super focused on what do they want. And if you just point your energy to, like, how can my services, how can my reel, how can my brand story, how can my impact story, how can my safety videos, how can what I do help my client get what they want? Because we have this thing called nuance and energy, clairsentient, call it whatever you want to call this, but it is a sense that we can all feel. And if that intention is pure and then it's genuine, nothing sells stronger than that. Mindset. Are you in the right headspace to close? There were days where I would sabotage the whole day's worth of calls just because I had the wrong mindset. Make sure that you are prepped in terms of mindset. And the language is another one, which is huge. The language you wrap around your brand subconsciously affects the value of your clients attached to your work. Assess the language, and we're going to talk about language in a second. We don't say video, we say film or brand story or story. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a second, but assess the language you're using on your next call. There are some small changes in language that will quickly elevate your perceived value. Thinking about, like, we can say pre-production, we could say we're going to conceptualize that for you, or we're just going to come up with an idea. It's just, we do not want to cheapen what we're saying through our language. Language is a very powerful vehicle to really wrap meaning around what we do. And I think that is a really big key to what I was focusing on when I was selling my services. So the first one, set the frame. Every meeting, pitch, and presentation in social counter that is governed by frames. Frames are the point of view, a perspective, a position. Frames don't combine or mix, they collide. Okay, now we're going to do a whole segment on YouTube regarding, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I got some really cool shit I'm going to be putting up around framing and how to frame your calls better. But this one front end framing is just vital. The person in control of the frame is the one who controls the call. You must lead. That's it. You are hurting your budgets if you do not lead the call. It's simple. And there are different types of frames you will come across in your journey as a filmmaker, but what matters most in determining the winning frame is your opening. You've got to open up. You got to come correct. Like the song, you've got one shot at this, and you've got to frame it right. And so I'm going to give you an example of a good frame. So, hey, Nim. Hey, Mr. Client. Great to meet you. Whereabouts are you calling from? Just a bit of rapport, nothing too serious. And once they answer that, you say where you're from, or if you're on Zoom, or if you're in person, like you could say whereabouts. What area do you live in? Great, cool. Well, it seems like we've got our coffee, or we've got a good internet connection. However that is, let's go with Zoom. Seems like we've got a good internet connection. Can you hear me? Can you see me fine? Okay. The next thing could be, great. So we can dive. So then you would say, great. So we can dive in and get started on the call. I would say something on the lines of that. Shall we dive in and get started? I've got a lot to cover with you today. Before we go in much further, I want you to be confident that partnering with us is the right option and that you are a good fit and a good client for us. But basically what we want to say there is, look, we're just trying to get the right, and again, it comes down to intention, okay? So before we go into it too much, I want you to be confident that we're the right fit, the right partner, and you're the right client for us. So I'd like to start out by asking you a few questions about your current situation and what you'd like to achieve. And if I feel I can help you with those, I'll show you our creative process and methodologies and answer any questions that you may have. The main outcome for the call today is for us to decide if we're going to work together, right? So we're driving that decision because we don't want gray areas. We want to show people that we value our time and then we're not just fucking around on conversation and playing in this gray area, okay? We want to make a decision. Are we going to work together, yes or no? Because 9 times out of 10, when somebody's forced to make a decision, they're going to take you way more serious than if you are just allowing them to fluff, flower, and do everything. But the goal of the frame is this. The goal of the frame is to create a comfortable environment. Number 2, remove the fear of being sold to, because you don't want to come across as that girl or guy. Get permission to ask questions, which is super important, and set the tone as the leader. You need to be the boss, okay? You have to be the boss. You have to say to them like, hey, listen, I've got a process for this, and I'm gonna address everything. I need to ask questions. And some of these questions may be a little intrusive, but my opportunity to help you starts right now. And so if you're okay with that, can we dive in? Like, you've set the frame. I'm going to be asking questions. But before we do, if you've got a pen and paper, just in case you've got any questions, I'll answer anything you have towards the end. I'm leading the show. This is my show. This is my rodeo. I'm taking you from here to there because I have a process. I'm structured. I'm professional. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm going to help you get where you're going. I'm going to ask you questions, which gets to the next thing, which is how to bring a client to self-realization. Now, we all think that selling is about us talking. It's actually about us shutting the up. Shut up. Don't say much. We have to have sophisticated questions. So the most powerful way to sell is to have a client sell themselves on your video. Now, we have to act like a therapist in order for that to happen. To do this, we have to identify their base level burning desire. We have to know what they want. We have to know what they actually want, but we have to get them to say it in a way that they're speaking from the actual desire, seeing it in their mind, not the surface level answer of, we want some new videos. That's the worst answer. In fact, I don't do business with anyone that tells me that, because what do you mean you want some new videos? I need to know what the result is, because of my creative process is geared around the result. The only way I can do pre-production is to re-engineer from what you want to back. So if you're wanting leads, that's a different type of video than you creating an emotional connection and causing a movement and awareness. That's different. Conversion is a sales video. That's going to be high tempoed. That's going to be pacing. It's going to have a lot of grades on it. It's going to have a lot of music and sound design. Like, there's a lot of different things and elements that's going to go into that particular piece based on that goal. And so I have to understand what the desire is. So I don't accept this. I never accept this. This is a client with low intention if they ever say this. And it's your job to dig deeper. Typically, it is tied to time and money and freedom. This is what you need to look out for. These 3 things is and then obviously there's relationships, and then there's other things like health and all that kind of stuff. But typically people want more time, they want more money, they want more freedom. Okay, and video is a great vehicle for that. With this, you can create questions that build internal pressure and cause the realization to occur. To identify the burning desire, use these questions. And these are just some questions, but there's better ones. And you need to think on your feet. And this is where the real magic on the art and science of selling gets into. It's how you can ask questions. It's how you can really ask these questions so people come to their own answers, but thinking on your feet. Because if you just methodically keep asking questions and you don't know how to minutia, and this is where the street smarts kick in, you got to become like, you got to be a G on this, you got to be good on this, you got to know what you're saying on this. So when you get an answer, you know how to quickly snap back into a question. All right. So what are you looking for specifically with your video marketing? Great question. It opens up the call. What are you currently doing to achieve this particular desire? What are you working on? How long have you been doing it that way for? Stretch the time. We've been doing this for 2 years. We've been trying to do this for 2 years. We've tried internally to do it ourselves. It just always goes to shit. We end up hiring this junior. It just comes out crap. The brand doesn't feel good. It's just all over the place. And then you would ask 3, like, how long have you been doing it? We've been doing this for ages. Like this for ages. Okay, do you feel the way you are trying to achieve X, Y, Z will happen, or do you feel the need to make some small changes? That's one question. And these questions are like, you can come up with any questions. Like one of the questions is, a really good question is like, are you doing this all alone or internal? Are you getting any creative direction? Like, do you have any frameworks or methods that you use in terms of how you position yourself? These are questions that are very powerful and very, very will have them internally thinking to themselves, no, we don't have that. Why do you feel, what action is not necessarily getting you where you want to go as quickly as you want to get there? So you using someone internally or partnering with the wrong production company is not getting you exactly where you want to get. What do you think is wrong with that? Get them to sell that to you, because internally now they're going to go to their anger of all the 2 years they've wasted with this human tripod that never led them anywhere, did fuck all, did nothing, made nothing, didn't create anything, didn't create a brand's voice. And now you're asking that question and they're just unleashing all this on you, and they can start to feel like this is important to us. So besides obviously increasing revenue, because you have been trying to achieve, this for some time, what makes it important to do this now? Like, why is this now? Are you ready to draw a line in the sand? Do you think now is the time to really commit and draw a line in the sand and truly get to it? Or tell me, how do you feel? Like, give them the open floor. Is this a now thing or a later thing? What kind of budget do you want to think? Like that, then budget and time questions are super important, but they get towards the end. But these questions here are just some very generalized, basic questions. But the trick and the science to this is thinking on your feet, is knowing to take the answer and then converting that into a deeper question around pain, their deep, dark pain. Most of your clients are in a dark hole of rage and confused and overwhelmed. And they have no idea how to edit. They have no idea how to position themselves. They don't know what to say. And they're just looking for someone to take control of this. But we need to dig into that so they can feel that this is a real issue. They have no brand voice. They have no brand stories. They have no impact stories. Let them feel what that's costing them. What do you think that's costing them? That's a great question. What do you think this is costing you not having this up and running? It's a great question. And you obviously want to do it so you're not being super manipulative, but you want to be to a point where, again, it comes back down to the other point, intention. And a lot of these questions that you're asking, if you have got good intention, they will genuinely take you to naturally a self sort of internal pressure method anyway. But having these sort of gambits and these kind of questions loaded, you're going to have a much better, much better chance of winning. Okay, intention. No matter how perfect you ask questions, your body and your subconscious mind will let the true intentions through. So make sure that you're in the right space, okay? Because nuance doesn't lie, energy doesn't lie. We can't escape ourselves. We can't escape our own soul. We can't escape our own energy. What we're feeling is genuinely what the world, the universe will work. There's so much history and science on this. Like, I don't need to go into it, but if you're feeling shit and pretending that you're not feeling shit, we're going to feel it through the voice. We're going to feel it through your eye movement. It's very subtle. It's called nuance, Remember, people want what they can't have and chase what moves away from them. So act like you're the prize and not the budget, and not their budget, and watch their energy change. Now, this becomes internally like about you understanding that you are a storyteller. This is why I tell people all the time that are working in storytelling land, like videographers. I don't care if you're specialized or if you're a general video business, right? You are a storyteller. You are the most powerful person in the room. You have the ability to start movements, to start a war, to create a president. Like, I'm telling you, like, you are extremely powerful. There's not a powerful person or a rich person on the planet that hasn't somehow used storytelling to get there. Like, even the anonymous billionaires, their brands and everything else would have used heavy storytelling to get the awareness, to get the attention, because attention is like the new oil. Like, you have something so special, so you have to prize yourself with that. Fit with your offering. And these are just ways that you can start to prize yourself. So the first thing is you need to make sure they're a good fit. You need to have some kind of sort of vetting process as well. Like, do they have a clear need for your products and services? If they don't, well, they're not a good fit. Budget, is their budget aligned with your pricing structure? It either is or it isn't. If it's not, then they're not a good fit. Decision-making authority, key decision makers. Are you engaging with individuals who have an authority to making a purchasing decision? Like, don't waste your time. Like, with people that are not making, like, all right, marketing managers, you may have to go through that, and they may be the ones that sign off. Then they are the decision maker, right? But they're going to have to go get it signed off. Influence. Are there other stakeholders who influence the decision? These are all very key questions. Business potential, growth potential. Does the client have potential for future business or referrals? This is a very good one. Like, you want to sort of lean into them type of people, particularly like if you're working with what I call head of snake, meaning people that are thought leaders that have a large following. You want to take care of them because they can just point you to certain key people. They have a good network. Industry relevance. Are they in the industry and benefit from your offering? Very key. Interest levels. Are they actively engaged and responsive to communication? Meaning, are they asking questions? Are they answering you? Are they respectful? You can always tell by the nuance. Commitment. Do they demonstrate commitment and seriousness about the project? How much pain do they have? How much desire do they have? This is all key. Alignment with your values. And I think if you haven't done this, I think it's important is to have some values so that you know what you're kind of looking for. Write down your dream client. I really think that the exercise is not as woohoo as you think it is. I think if you know what you're looking for, you'll start to be able to spot it. It's a little bit like when you know you're going to buy a car. You just see that car absolutely everywhere. Like, you want to start looking for your perfect clients. You really do. Reputation. What is a reputation in the industry? You want to work with good reputation because it kind of trickles into your brand, especially if you're going to use it as a case study and everything else in between. Now, language. Language is super important. One of the most difficult components to your sell is having your prospects clearly grasp the value of what you're delivering, as all we sell is pixels and waveforms. We only sell pixels and waveforms. Imagery. That's it. Right? So for us, perception is reality. We have to make sure we are wrapping as much perceived value around what we do in every single word and syllable that comes out of our mouth. Every email that we write, every text message we send, every social media post we put out. You must concentrate on making sure that your words and your language is raising your value in every single syllable that comes out of your mouth, right? So here's a few things. Don't say video, say film, or brand story, or stories. I like that. Don't say videographer, say creative director. It's more leadership. It's higher ranking. Like video, I don't have a problem with videographer, but I'm just saying it will raise your status if you... I hated people calling me a videographer. I felt it, and a lot of creative people don't like that, actually. Some people are settled with it. Typically, those guys that are settled with it charge day rate. They do. Creative directors know they're worth a lot more. And so just calling yourself a creative director is going to change the game for you. That's in your email signature. That's on your socials. I would say you're a creative director. Don't say small, say boutique. You're not a small video agency. You're a boutique agency. Don't say planning. Say pre-production or conceptualization or something bigger and more powerful. Think about this stuff. Take the time. This will wrap a lot of perceived value around your business in a big, big way. If you make your language cheap, your work will be seen through the lens of cheapness, and we don't want that to be. Now, I'm coming to the end of this video, and I just want to say to you, if you are in a position where you're sitting at around sort of 5 to 10K a month and you want to scale up to 50K, and you want to sort of jump into what I call the 500K brand story program, and we teach you the brand story creator model. Our goal in that program is to get you to 500K. We give you a one-to-one coach. We give you community access. We give you curriculum. We show you the methods, the pitch. We show you how to build your client acquisition infrastructure, which you'll never go hungry again. You'll always be working with premium clients. Your offer is everything. I think it does 50% of all this. Like, all this here is great, but if you have a solid offer, like a solid offer, it will do 50% of this work. And so we help you design your offer, and then we help you position yourself so your perceived value is through the roof. And we sort of do a brand audit on you, your personal brand and your agency's brand, because I do think there's two separate ones there. I do think you need to have a personal brand. In this day and age, most people that are doing well and really sort of kicking ass, and particularly the ones I know are doing 6 figures a month, they all have personal brands. And so if you're interested in joining this, comment on this video below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some ideas and you took the process. If you want more of an in-depth and specifically a custom look at what you're doing, like a customized approach to you specifically, then hit me up. If you haven't subscribed, and if you are in that position where you're just starting out and struggling, like, take notes from this video. Subscribe to the channel, watch what we're doing. We send out an email, try and get on the new email news list, do whatever you can so that you can build up enough so you can get into a program like this, because we can really transform you from sort of what I call human tripod and sort of the creative technical into more of a what I call brand story creator, into a more of a creative director. So you can get more higher level clients and get way more bigger budgets and get more fulfilling projects. And that's ultimately what we all want. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will hopefully see you soon. If you're thinking about joining, contact us. If not, over and out.